up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in today. I have two detailed questions that are going to require a little bit of illustration. So I'm going to set up the whiteboard and then we're going to get going. Thanks for tuning in. All right, my first question is from Attila. And this is a long one, and it's broken English, so I'm going to try to do the best I can to sort of make sense of this and translate it. Hi man, how's it going? I just found your YouTube channel, and wow, what mind-opening videos. These are great. I need your advice. I have a question about nutrition. I'm struggling to keep my weight down. I don't eat much, but I do eat fairly often. My food sources are 90 to 95% vegetables and fruits. Sometimes I eat eggs and chicken. I also rarely use olive oil, and sometimes I eat sunflower seeds. I do a lot of exercise, mainly running, cycling, and I do a little workout with weights. I feel that I'm going in the wrong direction. How do I maintain my weight and reduce my exercise? Because now I spend 3 or 4 hours exercising every day, and I feel like this is too much for my body. I don't know how to reduce it, because when I reduce it, my weight seems to go up. I am in Europe, specifically Serbia. I don't know what I can do to keep my weight off. If I don't do a lot of exercise, my weight seems to go up. I want to try with the ketogenic diet, but I don't know how to structure my meal plan. I would like to have 2, maybe 3 meals per day, but without snacking. I also don't know about if this crazy exercise can screw up my hormones. Maybe it's funny, but I also have problems with my libido. Can the ketogenic approach help me with this? Sorry for this long post, but I don't know any other way to describe all these symptoms. Please help me if you get a chance. Well, Attila, man, that's a lot of information. But let me start by saying this. You say your diet is 90 to 95% fruits and vegetables. I would start by eating maybe 90 to 95% less fruit and vegetables. I guess that's the best way to describe that. You eat very little protein and very little fat. So let me just break this down for you just a little bit better. And please watch my other YouTube videos about what macronutrients are, the How We Get Fat and How to Fix It video series 1 and 2. Those are very beneficial. But let me just say this real quick, and then I'll get back to your libido question and if I think the ketogenic diet is right for you, because it, by all means, isn't right for everybody. Let's say this. You're eating 90 to 95% fruits and vegetables, and you're gaining weight if you don't exercise 4 hours a day. I'm going to tell you exactly why that is. We have essential macros, and then we have the non-essential macros. A macro is usually 3 categories of foods. Every food that you eat is going to fit into one of 3 categories: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Okay, 2 of those macronutrients are essential, and that is going to be fats and proteins. When we ingest dietary fats, they break down into a substrate that can be used by our body. The substrates, or some of the substrates for dietary fats, are lipids, free fatty acids, and cholesterol. There's a couple more, but just for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to list a few. Protein is also an essential macronutrient. Protein breaks down into amino acids, and amino acids in and of itself is a long, drawn-out list of different chemical compounds. But it's essential. Fiber is also essential, but fiber technically is in the carbohydrate category. Now, I don't specifically put fiber in the carbohydrate category when I'm speaking nutrition, because carbohydrates, by definition, assimilate into sugar in the bloodstream. And fiber is, for the most part, not able to pass the semi-permeable membrane in the intestine, so it has no effect on blood sugar. It is insoluble. So, I don't consider fiber to be a carbohydrate. However, it is an essential macronutrient. Anywhere else you look it up, it will be in the carbohydrate category, though. So we don't need carbohydrates, but we do need fiber. Let me start there. Okay, so what makes a macronutrient essential? Well, the fact that our body can't manufacture those. So we have to require those from an external source. We have to get carbohydrates, we have to get proteins, and we have to get fats through our diet because our body cannot manufacture the substrates that those convert to once we consume them. So that's what makes them essential. We have to consume these because our body can't make them. Now the non-essential macronutrient is going to be carbohydrates. Now that assimilates into glucose, glycogen, etc., etc., etc. There's different names for blood sugars. And there's different names for the breakdowns of blood sugars. But what most people don't know is that your body can make glucose and glycogen and all the other substrates from carbohydrates out of fats and proteins. That's why it's considered non-essential. So we actually do not need to consume carbohydrates. We do need to consume fiber, and fiber comes from carbohydrate sources. However, strictly speaking, we do not need to ingest foods that are the majority of the carbohydrate family. Hope that's not too technical. I hope I broke it down to where you can understand it. Okay, so here's what you're doing. Let me just relay this real quick. Fiber, for most people, is in the carbohydrate category. I do not consider it a carbohydrate. So this is, by the way, this is all just advice. You go and you do whatever you want to do with the information I give you. I suggest you look it up yourself and you cross-reference studies and you do all your own legwork. Don't take anything I say or anything anybody has to say too seriously unless you do the research yourself. This is just my opinion. It's also accurate science, but it is my opinion about my translation of the science. So what you're doing is you're consuming 90 to 95% of the one macronutrient that you actually don't need to consume. And so 90 to 95% of the calories that you ingest are coming from sugars, glucose, glycogen, etc. And if you watch my videos on how we get fat and how to fix it, what you know is the main causation for obesity is consumption of carbohydrates or consumption of high glycemic index foods or high glycemic load foods. So what you'll immediately notice is 90 to 95% of your food is the one that you don't need. So all of that food is converting into sugar. Your body's having to secrete insulin to get that sugar out of the blood. Your muscles are already topped off on glycogen. And so your liver converts that glycogen to fat. So if you don't exercise 4 hours a day, you're going to swell up like a tick, eating 90 to 95% of the one macronutrient that is actually not required by the body. You eat very little protein. You say you eat a chicken breast every now and then, or an egg here and there. And you eat very little fats. Say you eat olive oil and some sunflower seeds every now and then. So you're actually doing the exact opposite of what you need to do to be healthy and what you need to do to be a lean, fit person. You shouldn't have to spend 4 hours a day in the gym. That's a punishment, as far as I'm concerned, in order to keep your weight down. So here's what you do. You eat the majority of your calories from fats and proteins. Now, I'm not telling you not to eat vegetables. You know, you're going to eat vegetables every time you eat, a big portion of vegetables. You're going to stay the hell away from fruits for now until you get to where you're happy as far as your weight is concerned. And the majority of your calories are going to come from fats and proteins. You still need fiber, so you still have to consume some carbohydrate sources. Some. So maybe on a high end, 25% of your calories are going to come from carbohydrates. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to do 30% of your calories from protein, 30% of your calories from fats, and I did that totally wrong. 30% from protein, 30% from carbohydrates, and 40% of your overall calories are going to come from dietary fats. That's going to fix the issue. You can't assume that you're going to do well if you eat the majority of your calories coming from a non-essential macronutrient. Not only that, the reason your libido is crashing is because fat, lipids, free fatty acid, cholesterol is what synthesizes into testosterone in the male body, into progesterone in the female, and estrogen in the female body. So your body's not producing adequate amounts of testosterone, so of course your libido is going to be in the tank. You're not going to have any sex drive. You can't without testosterone. So you need to consume adequate amounts of dietary fats. You have to have fats. Your body cannot manufacture cholesterols, essential cholesterols. It can manufacture LDL, but you don't want that, and that's probably going to be from carbohydrates. So that's your question. That's your answer. Your libido's low because you're not consuming enough dietary fats. You're gaining weight rapidly if you stop exercise because the majority of your calories are coming from a non-essential macronutrient. This is your formula to fix it. I guess I'm big time now since I'm answering questions from Europe. That's pretty cool, actually. But I hope this helped you out, and stay tuned to some of my other videos. By the way, make sure you go back and watch my other videos. There's a lot of good information in there. All right, on to the next question. I'm going to erase this, and we're going to start over. All right, next question is from Nicholas. Nicholas actually has 3 questions. The first one was detailed, and this one's also detailed, and that's why I'm only doing 2 questions today. So Nicholas asks, question number 1, how much cardio should you perform a week or a day before you do harm, i.e. burning muscle instead of fat? Question number 2, what are your food suggestions to eat pre and post workout? Question number 3, can you explain the heart rate / fat burning zones? Thank you. I really enjoy your videos. They are very informative. Well, thanks for watching, Nicholas. I probably wouldn't do this crap if you guys weren't interested in it. To be totally honest with you, most of the stuff I do with the community of clients that we have here is looked upon by everyone else as sort of hokey crap. Although it's backed by concrete science, most people don't want to give up the folklore, myth, information that's been handed down and down and down and down. And then just around, too. I mean, there's so much crap just perpetuated in the fitness community. And it's all based upon stuff that's not healthy. Most fit people aren't actually healthy. So anyway, I really appreciate you guys watching. And I really appreciate the ability to extend my reach. And I really do appreciate you guys looking to me for this information as well. Because I hope that I'm doing people a service. And I hope that this is one of those things where it's a moral thing for me. And I'm always going to do what I feel is right in my heart, regardless of what the morons out there say about it. So a lot of the time when you're speaking the truth, people have a problem with that. But I don't. I never have. So, now, question number 1. How much cardio should you do a week or a day before you do harm or burning muscle instead of fat? It's not about how much you do. It's about where your heart rate is. If that cardio is good for you or if that cardio is bad for you. Let me explain. On this table here, this is going to represent your percentage of maximum heart rate. 100% is obviously going to be your maximum heart rate, and these are going to be percentages down from 100. Your heart rate, your maximum heart rate is 220 minus your age. 220, subtract your age from that, that's your 100%. That is not set in stone. I routinely train over 100% when I'm doing high intensity training, but it's a good guideline to start with. These also aren't concrete. You might break into the glucose burning mode at 73% or 68%. This is a rough guideline. If you were to get a heart rate monitor, a good heart rate monitor like a Polar FT 60 or FT 80, it's going to tell you exactly where your zones are as far as these are the 3 zones that you can exercise in. So like I said, it's about heart rate. It's more about heart rate than anything. If you were to exercise for 10 minutes and you very rapidly increased your heart rate, let's say you started a run. So inside of that 10 minutes, your heart rate is going to go up through the body fat burning zone, through the blood sugar burning zone, and then into the muscle burning or amino acid burning zone. And it's going to do that relatively fast. So if you're starting a 5K run or a 10K run, or God forbid a half marathon or a full marathon, this is going to happen relatively fast. Probably inside of the 10 to 13 minute mark, you're going to go through the blood sugar zone. So you do spend some time initially burning a little bit of fat and a little bit of blood sugar, but then you go into the muscle burning zone. And if you were to continue that, this curve might not be 100%, but I'm just trying to give you guys a rough idea. If this curve looked more like that, then you can sort of see that around the 13-minute mark, you're going to be out of the blood sugar burning zone. And you might level your heart rate off for extended periods of time there. So if you're running long distance, that's essentially what you're doing. You're going in time and elevating your heart rate to this point where we're in the amino acid burning zone. The reason your body does this is because you cannot burn body fat at an elevated heart rate. If you're above, let's say 80%, again that's a rough estimate, give or take, let's say 5%. If you're above 80%, your body can no longer burn fat. Fat has to go through a process that takes just a little bit more of time to regenerate adenosine triphosphate or ATP. Not trying to get too complicated, so I'm not going to go too far into that. However, this is what's going to happen if you do a long distance run and you're competing for time and you're not just going on a leisurely stroll. You're going to go through the blood sugar and you're going to go off that way. So if you were to take the heart rate down just a little bit and maybe slowly elevate the heart rate and go into the blood sugar zone, what this graph doesn't dictate is that when you spend too much time in the blood sugar zone, you're going to run out of blood sugar. So you can't spend time in the blood sugar zone, and then out of nowhere, blood sugar sort of disappears. That's kind of what runners say hitting the wall is. And then it kind of goes and levels off into the muscle burning zone. It might be a little higher than that, might be a little lower than that. But that's going to be what's going to happen. If you're an endurance athlete, if you're a long distance runner, long distance bike rider, long distance swimmer, something like that. Typically, too, that's why if you see a long distance swimmer, they're overweight. If you see a long distance runner, they're typically overweight. Besides, like the high-end professionals who are probably on a lot of drugs. And typically most cyclists too, like even the ones that are in the local stuff, they all have, you know, what you would consider a little bit of weight to lose. And it's for that reason, because they eat the wrong foods and then they train in the wrong heart rate. So they probably don't do it to be healthy though. They probably do it just for the competition. So how much cardio should you do to perform a week or day before you start doing hard? If you stay high in zone 1, let's just call this zone 1, zone 2, and that's going to be zone 3. If you were to elevate your heart rate very fast in the beginning and then taper it off and ride this line in zone 1 here, if you don't have any pre-existing joint problems, if you don't have any pre-existing injuries, if you don't have any pre-existing heart conditions, obviously, if you were to stay in right on that border of 70%, you are going to burn the most amount of body fat without climbing into the glycolytic pathway, because the heart rate is going to be low enough to do that. So essentially, you could do 2 hours a day or more, I don't know who has the time for that, without hurting your body. So essentially, it's one of those things where you can do as much appropriate, effective cardio as you have time for, and all that's going to do is help you burn more body fat. Now, I get a lot of crap for putting this out there. To me, this is just common knowledge. To most people, they're going to defend their lifestyle as far as what they like to do for running or for endurance, anything. They're going to defend it. However, defending it doesn't negate the science. This is strictly scientifically speaking. This is what happens inside the human body. Yeah, and I do get a lot of crap for putting this out there, but I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. When someone asks me how to burn the most appropriate amount of fat, and they're a runner, and I tell them that they're going to have to slow down and walk, They look at me like I'm crazy because intuitively you think that you have to exert yourself more to get more of a benefit. And that's just not true when it comes to cardiovascular training. You actually have to slow down to get more of a benefit. That's why walking is always going to be better for you than running or anything else, high heart rate for that matter. Hope that cleared that up for you. Question number 2, what are your food suggestions to eat pre and post workout? It doesn't matter. And I know the industry has told people for years and years and years, you need fast carbs and you need fast protein post workout. So you need a protein shake and you need a fruit or whatever. And that's crap too. Timing is a non-issue. Your body's going to do just fine if you're, let's say, effectively doing cardio. You don't need anything immediately post-workout. There's not a 30-minute anabolic post-workout window. I sometimes don't eat 2 hours after I train, or I sometimes, it's really just not that big of a deal. If you focused on your nutrition, then it'd be less about meal timing. If you focused on your nutrition, number 1, your nutrition, you can lose a lot of fat without even having to worry about doing this damn cardio, just with your nutrition. Now, it's obviously going to be faster if you add the cardio in, but you can't make up a bad diet by doing more cardio or by worrying about pre-post workout meals. It doesn't work that way. As a whole lifestyle, what you need to do is just focus on eating well and don't kill yourself over the timing. Pre-post workout. Doesn't matter. And question number 3, can you explain the heart rate zones and fat burning zones? Well, I think I just did that. So question number 1 and question number 3 are kind of in the same category there. Hope this video was informative. This is just my opinion. Let me just say that. This is just my opinion. You go out there and you do whatever the hell you want to do, but this is coming from a person who takes thousands of pounds off of people a year. So again, follow who you want to follow. Take the advice of the people you want to take from. If you don't like what I'm saying, if you don't like the information that I'm putting out, you don't have to watch it. You don't have to follow my page. It's kind of up to you. However, if you do, I can say that I will, by all means, do the right thing by you and do what I feel is the right thing. And I'm going to put the right information out there. This is coming from my strong moral compass, and this isn't coming from me trying to sell you a freaking shake or a pill or a wrap or any other crap like this. I just want to get people healthy, and I just want to put the information out there that's going to do that as fast as I possibly can. So, again, thanks for watching. Please like and share the video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Crap, I got like 200 subscribers within the past couple weeks, and that's been awesome. So, anyway, give me your feedback. If you like this kind of stuff, please give me a comment. If you don't like this kind of stuff, just don't watch it. I don't need to hear it. And we'll go from there. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.